Now, two former military heads of state of Nigeria, Abdusalami Abubakar and Ibrahim Babangida, on Tuesday emphasized the role of the military as being pivotal in safeguarding the nation's unity and democracy. Both men spoke at the launch of a book titled 9 Lives, the Bello Fadile Memoirs by retired Army officer Colonel Bello Fadile, Nigerian General Abdusalami, who highlighted the military's role as a stabilizing force in Nigeria, acknowledged the sacrifices made by soldiers to secure peace in Nigeria, urging young Nigerians to adopt a spirit of national service and collective effort for the future of the country. Arise News analyst Dayo Sobowale joins us now to examine the position of both former military leaders. Good to have you as always, Mr. Sobowale.
It's a pleasure being here as usual.
Very good. So how correct are these statements coming from both former military rulers?
They must complement themselves. It's self-adulation or self-glorification. Whether it is justified or not, it's why we are here. I don't think it is. Because the military in politics is an aberration. Military intervention is an aberration. The strength of the democracy is in the integrity of its elections and the transparency and responsiveness of politicians either in or out of office. The best example of how powerful democracy is what happened in the last US election. Somebody called a felon, almost jailed, a rapist and all that. And the election voted, the electorate voted for him. And the man on the seat who contested, or whose vice president contested against him, acknowledged the result and said he accepts the choice of the people. That is the strength of democracy. Get me? And on that score, we have had it off and on in Nigeria. When in 1966, the army came on board, people applauded them because the democratic regime then was very corrupt. But when eventually the military stayed in power, prosecuted the civil war, we were happy to keep the country one. But then, thereafter, they too receded into massive corruption. And when the Murtala coup came and Gawan was removed, there was acclamation, adulation for the military. They were carried shoulder high into power. But then, it's clear now that corruption too is the bane of both military and democratic governance. So corruption plays a key role. And when you talk of corruption, you have to talk of political culture. Get me? Integrity, character, and the mold of the leadership in office. If that is, how do I put it? It's fake or lackadaisical, or it's not that of the purest integrity, you are bound to have problems. Because people will want to circumvent the political process. That's why you have thuggery, you have bribery, vote buying, and all that. And actually, our problem here in Nigeria is that we have never been able to conduct a free and fair election. That is the long and short of it. You see, it is amazing. You see, in the US, they don't have a body like INEC. You know that? I borrowed democracy from them. But it is the mere day houses that project and count and wait. See? It's a pity Trump cast aspersion on them when he lost. But then, if you notice what Trump said, eventually, almost all the states readjusted their electoral rules to make sure that people do not. And that is why Biden was able to say, we accept the choice of the people. You could see he was saying it grudgingly. It's like, if that's what you want, that is, we accept it. Indeed. That's democracy. So it's not the army or the military that will guarantee democracy. The army is there to protect the nation, protect our territorial integrity. In fact, they are even not supposed to take part in civil arrest, because that's the domain of the police. But you see, these eminent people who have spoken, they have tasted power. Get me? Yeah. Unfortunately, the two of them never became civilian presidents.
Indeed.
But two of them became civilian president, Buhari and the ever-articulate Olusegun Obasanjo, still abroad, saying so many things. You see, what they have done, in effect, is that even when they lost power and shared their braided hat and boots, they migrated into Agbada and started playing politics. So that lot, they have become the guide of our, not guardian, the guide of our democracy. This is not sort of a democracy in military Agbada, sort of. But then, that's the nature of our own political development. And that's our political culture. So let's leave it at that for now.
Okay, Mr. Sobowale, thank you for that. That statement about them migrating from the boots to Agbada. But let's touch on the legacy of military rule, considering what a lot of people would say is there was the economic mismanagement and human rights abuses that is often attributed to military regimes. Professor Madaki highlighted the need for the military to address issues like human rights abuses and the disregard for the rule of law. How can the military balance its role with fostering, trust and collaboration with the Nigerian people? Because a lot of trust has been lost if we're to listen to the advice being given by these two former heads of state.
Are you talking of the military out of office?
I mean, they're out of office now. We can't
and we don't want them to come back.
Yes.
And the antidote to that is good governance.
Yeah.
Get me? The politicians should campaign and listen to the needs of their electorate. And when they get to power, they do it. Yeah. Get me? And they should try as much as possible to organize free and fair elections. Then nobody will need the military. But as things stand now, like I have told you, somebody went to our National Assembly and said he saw almost more former military officers than regular politicians. So you see, the military intervention has changed the landscape for access to power. Get me? These are people who are military officers. Some of them don't even have close to ear to parties. But then they got into power, and they had to fix the government. And these are people who never met. So some of them brought in their classmates. So the military have created a new class of power grabbers. That's what I would call them. But once you serve as a minister in Nigeria, either in civilian or military regime, you have access to money, to wealth. So that has created an imbalance, a lopsidedness in our political system in terms of access to power. That is why they said for you to collect a form for presidential office now, you need 100 million naira. And just some people can just drop it like that. Go and find out. They have connection with military contacts, with military people, and have been in government before. Or like people who have faced their jobs, get me, who cannot have such means to have access. Right. So it has made access to power lopsided, uneven, and has not created the level playing ground. And as such, our best hands don't come out for politics. That's why the rot there.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Sobowale, just before we go, one final question, and briefly, please. Still talking about the legacy, it is said that the current constitution is also part of what we got from the military, as it were, despite all the amendments, But has it sustained our outlook on democracy and the rule of law? Are we better unified or otherwise? From that perspective, despite all the issues here and there, especially when it comes to elections.
You see this constitution, 1999 constitution, was hurriedly put there after the aborted MKO election. You know, Abdusalami was there 1998, 1999. It is his constitution. I say, and it is a unitary a constitution, you see, it's the influence of the military on our federalism.
Yeah.
And right, it has been there since the time of Erosi in 1966. You see, we are supposed to be a federation of equal states. And the center, get me, is supposed to lead. But we are running our federation like a unitary system, as if the center is more powerful than the rest. You get me? Yeah. Everybody goes ahead because it's the hierarchy of the military. You see, if there is a coup now, they will retire all senior officers senior to the person who has, even incidentally, unfortunately. This occasion they are talking about, it was Bello Fadili who plotted a coup, and people called it phantom. What he's saying is a real coup, and that is God that saved him. You see how they mislead us? And he said the title is okay, 9 lives. You know of a catch with 9 lives?
Yeah.
Getting out of danger.
Yeah.
They have forgotten that God is in charge. That's why he was able to get out of it. Anyway, the military have been, how do I put it, adventurers on our political landscape. And they have left indelible mark. But you see, in fairness to Babangida, even though people are trying to misconstrue what he said, he has always said that democracy has come to stay. And we played a lead in that regard. When, you know what happened in Mali, neighbor Niger, Tinubu was ready to invoke ECOMOG, so to call them to order. But because of our cultural Islamic connection, we could not do it. But at least it shows we are for democracy, unlike others. Right, I'm proud of that.
I'm proud of it too. Thank you so much, Mr. Sobowale. That's always love having you on Newsday for your analysis.